I guess I'll start with my opening statement.
Wait, do we actually get croissants? What?
Okay. So I think to start, we can all agree that our country's current situation is flawed. Peasants starve while nobles collect their money and so on.
Wait, what are you?
And it's tempting to approach Francis' issues with like reckless forces, but this would lead us spiraling into chaos worse than what we have now. So it's necessary that we learn to compromise sensibly to reach some conclusions, even if they're less ambitious than certain individuals would have liked.
Does anyone want to state their opinion of the veto power for the king?
Okay, I guess I'll go. So I said the king should not be allowed to veto or just have like any power in the government because like he would probably want to go back to how it was, and that's not just going to help the country evolve into its best self.
Who had option number 1?
I'm number 1.
What was your opinion?
I said the king should have veto power over laws because God has made the king all source of authority, therefore the people are his subjects, so he must have absolute veto that gives him the final say.
You know, I like our king. He's a pretty cool king. And it's like kind of our French history to uphold keeping him around. But like, even though he does have our best interests in mind, in order for him to actually support us the way that God would have appreciated, it makes sense that like the people are kind of under him and advising him. And so in order for that to follow through, if he has veto power, it's like any of our intentions and like advising just doesn't like count if he just decides it's something else. So I think instead of a veto power, he should have like suspensive veto, which is like he can reject legislation unless 3 assemblies can have something better. So then we keep our good king and we just kind of work together with him instead.
Why do you think the king is good though? He's kind of trash.
God chose him.
I don't know. Sometimes God makes mistakes.
But we don't want to throw away all of our traditions just because we need change. I feel like throwing away our traditions would throw away who we are as a country.
Not necessarily. Look at what America did and how they used to be part of Britain and now they've completely changed and they're for the better now. So I've seen that firsthand because I fought in the American Revolution. No, it has. No, it hasn't. Bet.
Didn't the French get inspired by America?
I fought with America.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. But the French Revolution was after.
Okay.
Yeah, Douglas, we were inspired by America.
There you go.
Does anyone else have any opinions on the veto? Okay. What about religious freedom?
We don't need to go in
things
order.
up there, mate.
Yeah. Okay.
Religious freedom. Let me go find that. I have my answer to that.
Emily, what are your thoughts on religious freedom?
Practicing religions other than Roman Catholicism is dangerous and ridiculous, and it will only bring chaos and violence to France.
Why do you think that?
Okay, well, does anyone have any other opinions about that?
Yeah, sure. I guess everyone should be allowed to practice whatever religion they want as long as it doesn't like disrupt the public because it's your opinion and everybody is allowed to have an opinion. Wait, did you guys say anything?
Okay, so I think Roman Catholicism is part of our tradition. And basically, an underlying thing to have in mind is just honoring as opposed to acknowledging our history. And so I think at this point, we got to do a little bit of each. And so it's important for us to acknowledge our history as like a Roman Catholic country while also honoring the fact that in present times, in a new era for France, we got to open our mind to some other opinions because, as we had said in that document, remember, the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, we are all equal, and so all of our opinions matter. So that is why I believe that we should open up our hearts to some new interpretations of God.
Why some? Why not all?
Well, that would just be destroying what we've built for a long time. If we just like allowed like atheists and stuff, then that would just be like, who even is God anymore? Then what would we do with our king? Like if we didn't believe that like God chose him, then what's even the point?
Clearly, God didn't choose him because otherwise he would be helping the country instead of destroying it.
What about when God made a big flood? Remember that? That was destroying.
Actually, I don't remember that because I didn't.
Yeah, we weren't around, but remember like hearing about that every single day at church?
I don't
Well,
go to church.
whenever we were learning about that. Yeah, you do. We all do.
I don't need to go to church. Free country. It's about to be done. It's the revolution.
Nothing's happening.
I know, Miss Sketches.
What are you doing?
Okay. Should we move on to the next one, or do you guys want to talk more about religious freedom?
Oh, Douglas, do you got anything to say outside of the next one? Move on to another thing.
But we haven't. Wait, Miss Gutches, are we supposed to like make a decision about each thing, or just talk about it?
If you could make a decision, that would be good. If people are
So are
intransigent
we-
and stuck in their ways, then you probably can't.
Are we allowed to like back off and be like, oh wait, they're right? if
You
we're
could.
right?
If that would be within your character, that could happen, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Make sure that you're speaking loudly enough that your recording can pick it up, because you guys are kind of far apart from each other.
If it's anything like that thing you used to make the project, then the recording will be picked up. Hey, Dan Choi.
So, okay, going back to the first one, what would you guys say to find an agreement? What would you guys want?
What do you guys think?
Because I feel like giving the king all the power would get us nowhere. We would end up at square one. He would erase all we have done to improve as a country, and we'd go back to old ways and stay, and we wouldn't be improving, unlike other countries who are prospering and changing their ways in these modern times. But taking away the king would just throw away our traditions that we've had. It's technically who we are as a country, and it's how we've been running since the 11th century. But we can't just keep relying on the king. So I feel like the king can have some power, like he can have a veto suspension, but like if it's passed by the majority, we can have it set.
Suspensive veto. Perfect compromise. Well, what do you all think, though?
I agree with you guys.
Yeah?
I agree. Sure.
Okay.
Right.
What about religious freedom?
Everyone should have religious freedom.
I agree with that statement.
Fine.
America.
Okay, now role of the Catholic Church. What did you guys say for
Wait, Douglas, you want to say?
They shouldn't be involved in politics. We should base our system off the American system, which has a separation of church and state, and their system is going great. Oh, it hasn't? What did you say?
It's happened. I know the revolution happened, but I'm not sure like how
Well, we
soon
should
we figured everything.
Make our own system and separate church and state.
No, I'm pretty sure it happened. Wouldn't they already need to have a government for the country to be running?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think it's already
Okay.
happened.
Yeah, you're right. We need to like actually learn our history and when these things happen.
History. Okay, I agree with Douglas because the church doesn't have like it doesn't look at everybody to help everybody. It just looks to help who they want to help, and so we can't really have that be a major factor in the government because we need to help everybody because that makes great people.
Emily, surely you agree. Like we gotta keep them involved though. In like politics, like if religion's such an important part of what we do, shouldn't it be the like centerpiece of our societal structure? Yeah. We can't just like it's already a stretch that we're letting everyone believe whatever they want. How come now suddenly they get to like they don't even get a say in what laws pass? You know, maybe that does make sense. Can't we find something like can't it just have like influence over politics but not like okay, fine.
Because nobody, like, if there's an influence, then it's not being like a true government in which like all voices are heard. And that's what our government is trying to become. That every voice is heard.
You know, maybe the reason why we shouldn't have it is because if we're opening our mind to several religions, then they might not be able to like decide on one. Like if there's different opinions of religion, then religion might not be able to come up with one set plan, and then that might lead us to chaos. Yeah, I guess I can see where you're coming from, you guys.
And also, why do the peasants have to pay like some of their money to the church, even though like everybody else doesn't? Why do they take the money away when they're already struggling to survive?
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
So, are we gonna take that away, or? Douglas, do you think we should take it away?
Yes.
Casey? Emily, what do you think? Yeah, okay.
Okay. So who do you guys think should be able to participate and also be a voter?
Wait, did you say who should participate?
Who should be able to participate and who should be able to vote?
Wait, so should we include women in this, or will women's rights be a separate topic?
Well, do you believe that women should vote?
I absolutely agree that women should vote because they are also human and all, like you said, God said, all men are created equal. So if all men are allowed to, why not women?
Because women aren't men.
And they're not, what is it? Women aren't actively engaged in the society as of now compared to how men are.
That's because we don't let them be actively engaged. Otherwise they would. And also they were some of the leaders in the revolution, so they kind of are.
Will, don't you remember that like march we did that time when we were trying to like protest for bread because we're the ones who
yeah.
like I think women are involved just like in a different way. Like we can't just we're equal but we're still separate.
Yeah, compared to men.
We gotta lead and show our strengths from the home by making these marches, by continuing to show